Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you a mini book haul. I'm saying a mini book haul because I don't have that many books here. There are only 9 books totally. And the reason why I bought them is because they were available at great deals for like 1 or 2 days. So I did not want to buy them later by giving more money. So I just went forward and purchased them. Also, I did not buy all of these together. I just bought them like 1 or 2 at a time and they just got piled up. I have to find place in my bookshelf in order to fit them all in also. Another thing is that of all the 9 books, 3 books are part of a single series. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. The first book in this book haul is actually a young adult contemporary and it is I Love You So MOCHI by Kuhn. I actually included this on my January TBR and I've also finished reading it. I can say that this book was worth all the money that I spent because it was just everything that I expected it to be. Here we actually follow our protagonist named Kimi, who's a 17-year-old who's in the final year of her high school, and after this she is to get into college. Her mother wants her to get into an art college because she herself is an artist and Kimi is also really good at painting. But for the past 2 months, Kimi has not felt that much of a passion in order to get into an art college and become an artist. She is very much interested in fashion and she wants to get into that line of profession. When this is revealed, her mother is not able to accept that fact and they have a small fight. After which Kimi is actually going to Japan for the small village named Kyoto and she has to live with her grandparents for a couple of weeks. During that time, she meets this 17-year-old boy named Akira who's to get into medical school and become a doctor. While Kimi is there, she is also trying to figure out the ways in which she can actually articulate her feelings in order to get into fashion to her mother and get her approval. The family dynamics and the friendships in this one were very nice to read. I can say that it was a very rich book. At the same time, it was very realistic when it comes to the emotions and the way in which the author has written them. The writing of the author was very beautiful, and I'm sure that if you liked To All the Boys I've Loved Before and all the other books in that series, this will be a great read for you. I personally enjoyed that trilogy very much and this felt very much similar in tone to that. It is clearly like a 4.5 or 4.75 star read for me. It does not have that many ratings on Goodreads, but I think more people have to read this. The next one is a self-help book and it is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I know that Louise Hay is very famous for her work when it comes to personal development and motivation in specific. I've watched a lot of her videos and I've always felt them very inspirational and motivational during the times when I was very low mentally. So they were very motivating in that instance, and I've also seen many people recommending this particular book in many of their videos, especially Archel from Libro Review, and I usually trust her when it comes to books like this one. This book focuses on healing yourself and trying to make the best out of your life and tapping into all the potential that you have. I've heard that this also has a number of exercises that you can do while you're reading the book and as you keep progressing and working on yourself. I'll just read the blurb of the book for you guys so that you can get an idea of what it is. Since I have not read it yet, I don't know what the book is exactly about, so I'll just read you the blurb now. This is actually just like a stanza that is written by the author herself. You can heal your life. I've written this book to share what I know with you, my readers. It incorporates portions of my little book, Heal Your Body, which has become widely accepted as an authoritative work on the mental patterns that create diseases in the body. Actually, diseases, not diseases. If you do the exercises in You Can Heal Your Life progressively as they appear, by the time you finish, you will have begun to change your life. I suggest you read through the book once, then slowly read it again, but this time do each exercise in depth. If you can, work through the exercises with a friend or a family member. Know that when you work with these ideas, my loving support is with you. That's actually the thing that the author says herself about the book. I'm not sure how good or how not good it will be, but I've heard only really good things about this one. Let's just wait and see whether it's helpful for me or not. The next one is a medical memoir and I actually did not buy this book. I won it in a giveaway. It is actually the first giveaway that I won so far. The book is When Breath Becomes Air by Kalanithi. I've actually wanted to read this book for the past 2 to 3 years and I've not bought it at all. But I just finally it found its way to me through a giveaway. And this book is about Kalanithi himself, who's a trained neurosurgeon. And when he was 36, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. He's actually a very accomplished neurosurgeon, and when the time when he was diagnosed with cancer, he was also a new father. This book was actually written by him during the time when he was battling cancer towards death, and by the time the book was published, the author had actually passed away. He had actually passed away while working on the book itself in March 2015. I don't know whether the book is complete or not. The foreword is actually given by some other person, and I think the last portion of the book is also said by some other person. I really want to get to this because I've heard really touching things about this book. I read the foreword alone and that itself was very tantalizing for me to read. I don't know whether this will be a heavy read or not, so I want to read this only in a time during which I'm mentally in a really good place. So I'll have to take some time and read it slowly. But I'm sure that I'm going to read this year and try to review it also. If it ends up touching my heart, let's just wait and see. Next book is the first one in a sci-fi trilogy and it is Altered Carbon by Richard Morgan. I actually did not even know the existence of this book until I received it. I actually received it for free from Booktube because they sent it to me for New Year. I also know that many other people also received surprise gifts from Booktube in the past 2 to 3 weeks. Now in this one we follow a futuristic world in which there is a small population of human beings who are not actually living on Earth. They are living somewhere in a small planet in this space. And another thing which is interesting about the series is that human beings are not just the bodies, they are just the consciousness, and each and every person's consciousness can actually be literally downloaded inside a body, and the person can exist in different bodies with the same consciousness that they have. Here also we have all the kinds of classism that we see in our normal society, but I'm not sure how it can be handled really well in a world like that. And also this is the debut work of the author that has received a lot of praise, so I'm intrigued just to go forward and start reading this. It also has a Netflix adaptation, so that is just an add-on if you ask me, because I trust Netflix with the adaptations that they do and the books that they adapt from, because they are always really good. Even the cover of this book is very interesting because it just has a human being inside a plastic bag, and even in the back cover we can see various different human beings inside plastic bags. It is a bit creepy, at the same time very interesting and intriguing. Let's just wait and see whether I like this or not. The next one is a book which I've been wanting to read for the past 4 years. I can see I've been wanting to read this since my 2nd or 3rd year in college, and I have not even picked it up at all. I actually wanted to buy a hardcover copy of this book, but the paperback was available at a cheaper price recently, so I just went forward and bought it. It is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily Exarpan. In this one we actually follow our main character named Lee, whose mother has recently died committing suicide, and she has left this single note alone for Lee which says, "I want you to remember." But Lee does not understand what she has to remember and what her mother is talking about, so she tries to talk it out with her friend Axel, but she's not able to because of some problem that happened between them. While all these happen, a red bird mysteriously leads her to her grandparents' house in Taiwan, and she goes there and secludes herself from her older life, trying to learn some kind of art and seclude herself from the society. While she's doing all these, she's trying to learn a lot more about the history of her family and her ancestors, and she's trying to remember just as the note that her mother had left. I've heard that this is kind of a magical realism story which also explores grief in a really good way, since our main character's mother dies in the beginning of the book itself, committing suicide that too. I think there will be some trigger warnings for this one, but I definitely want to read this. John Green has also blurbed the book, so I'm sure that it will be good in some way or the other. It is also a bit big, so I think it will take a little bit of time for me to read. Let's just wait and see. The next one is the only fantasy book in this pile, and I cannot believe that I've bought only one fantasy book recently, and that shows in a way that I want to read different genres, and I'm also trying. So yeah, the book that I bought is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This is the last and final book in the Strange the Dreamer duology. I actually read Strange the Dreamer way back in 2020, and I can still clearly remember each and everything that happened in Strange the Dreamer. The writing was just dead gorgeous, and I just completely enjoyed it. I want to read this just for that writing style alone, and even the character work of the author in that one was excellent. Each and every character was so well written, and I can say that each and every reader can relate to that main character, who is Laszlo Strange, at least to a little bit extent, because he's the book lover that all of us are. Though I remember everything from Strange the Dreamer clearly, I'm going to reread it once and then only get into this one, and I'm also going to try and binge these two back to back so that I can experience the whole story properly and completely as a whole. I've also heard that the ending of this one is just perfect considering the continuation that it has from the first book. I know that the first book has a huge cliffhanger towards its end. I want to know how it gets resolved here and all the other things that are going to play out in here. So yeah, I can easily say that of all the books in this pile, this is the one which intrigues and interests me the most and makes me want to read it sooner. I'm definitely sure I'm going to enjoy this. Let's just wait and see. The last 3 books in this book haul are the ones which I said belong to a single series, and this series is also on my 2022 series TBR. I'm talking about the only series which is not fantasy and not science fiction inside that TBR. It is the Sherlock Holmes series by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I've actually got all the 3 other Sherlock Holmes books in the collection which I don't have. The first one of these is the Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. The next one is the Return of Sherlock Holmes, and the last and final one is the Case Book of Sherlock Holmes. I actually wanted to buy these editions in specific because I have the first 2 books in these editions and they are very comfortable to read. At the same time, they are super inexpensive. The quality that they have for the price in which they are sold is super epic, guys. If you're planning to buy the Sherlock Holmes books and read them for the first time, I'd highly suggest you to try these editions. They are from Fingerprint. Usually all the books from Fingerprint are cheap in price and they are of really good quality. All the books are very floppy when it comes to the paperbacks, okay? So it will be very easy to read and super convenient. I'm sure that I'm going to binge all of these really soon, and I'm sure that I'll enjoy each and every one of them. After reading The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've actually not continued on with the series, but I really want to. The covers of all these books are just super beautiful because they are completely red. My most favorite of all the 3 is actually this one, which is The Return of Sherlock Holmes. You can see, right? It's not that beautiful in the camera, but when you see it in real life, they're gorgeous. So yeah, I can't wait to read them, and I also have the audiobook narrated by Stephen Fry for all these books. The only one which I don't have from the collection is the last one, which is a short story called His Last Bow, I think. I will purchase it in the future, but I don't think it is available in this edition. So yeah, these are the last 3 books in the book haul. So yes guys, that was my mini book haul. As I said before, I did not buy that many books, and I've bought these only in the last 1.5 to 2 months, so that's not a lot. I'm not also planning to buy that many books in the future also, because I have already nearly 100 books in my physical TBR, and I'm also trying to read all of them continuously without piling up newer books again and again. So yeah, that's it for today, and if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.